The fundamental complexity of the mission was that it was managed and coordinated by the Head Intelligence Office of Ukraine and was strictly classified. There was next to no time for getting the crew up to speed on all the new ones. But at the same time, this was an upside, as well as the whole operation was already planned out by the Intelligence Office, and they fed us loads of information in a relatively short stint of time. Every flight was different and unique. Someone had 24 hours leading up to his flight. Someone had only a couple of hours before the takeoff. The main challenge was to deliver aid and ammunition over 100 kilometers deep into the territory controlled by the enemy. The route along all of its length was tightly secured by the anti-air defense systems, and according to all of the math behind the planning, not only was the mission difficult to accomplish, it was nearly impossible to do. But in reality, it was proven to be something that we were able to accomplish. Our landing point was within the range of not one but 3 missile launchers, a risk of being hit either on the landing attempt or at the next takeoff. There are some technical peculiarities that I cannot talk about, but in general, we always try to keep out of the hit range of the anti-air defense systems. But there are operations when it is simply impossible to do that, like delivering aid and evacuating the wounded from Mariupol. It is vitally important for us to be aware of all the natural and artificial obstacles on our way and to use them to our advantage. A few words about the flight itself. When we heard the objective, it was clear to everyone how big of a risk that was. When the commander realized that the guys were intimidated by the sheer complexity of the mission and that it was a 90% chance of no return, he asked us to evaluate our own lives and the lives of our crews by the number of lives of the ordinary Ukrainians. How many of them need to die to prove to us that it's worth trying to go there and save them? And we did understand what was really going on there. They didn't have anything left to care for the wounded, even the lighter ones. That's why everyone took up this risk, with a clear understanding why they were doing this. The most anxious I felt on my way to the helicopter before the start, but soon it all started to feel like it was our regular assignment. We were doing what we were always doing. And when we finally got into Mariupol and were offloading, an insane feeling of euphoria stormed through my body. We felt as if we were the kings of the world, having managed to get there under the constant risk of being hit, and now we're standing there offloading at our destination. It felt like we've won already and that everything would be fine going forward. Unfortunately, this was far from over. On our way back, 3 minutes and 6 kilometers into the flight, we got hit with a missile and lost one engine. It hurts to say, but the crew that followed us were less lucky. Their helicopter fell and the whole crew was gone. When we got hit, I felt an insane adrenaline boost, and we did what we had to do. I entertained an option of an emergency landing as we had only one engine left, but we had 20 wounded people on board, and I knew that if we were to land somewhere in the field, we would still have no clue how to treat them. We would require a separate helicopter, which would have resulted in an unplanned operation. Every pilot has a special directive that he is free to make decisions on landing or takeoff according to his own judgment. There's plenty of nuance to be cautious of, though. The day we set out on our mission, the weather was worse than bad. But despite the weather, we decided to proceed with our operation, although we could find tens of reasons not to.